So in this video, we'll do one thing. We will add the leads and basically we'll list that leads. Okay. So create and view will be covered. So first, I will go to this lead controller and then in this create function. So I will create that particular return view, then leads dot create. So on this particular view, we will add that form. Okay. So in resources, views, then leads folder, I will create one more file, create dot lead dot php. Okay, I will just copy this welcome page to this create one. Then basically I will not welcome, I will just copy this dashboard and I will paste it into this create. Okay, so rather than dashboard, I can give heading create lead, and then rather than x welcome we will add the forms here. So I will just save this. So right now it will not be shown directly, so we'll have to add into the route. So I will go to this route, then leads slash create, then lead controller, and then function will be create and leads dot create. Okay, so we added route, we'll have to add this link. So I will go to this page, index page. So I will just paste it here. So this is a leads list page. Okay, and I will add a button or link. Okay, first I will show you this leads page. So slash leads, okay, this one. Okay, I will add a button. So means link a href, then I will use route. So we have given name leads dot create. So it will add that link to create page. Create, I will just see. So create. If I click this, I will go to leads slash create. Actually there is some issue, I have made mistakes. So I didn't close this one, so I will close this one. So proper URL will be created. I will refresh this, I will click create. So we are on this create page, create lead page. Okay, so we'll go to create page, then I will add form here. Okay, so form action. So action will be again I will use route, then leads dot store. We haven't created a route for this, so first we'll create that, otherwise it will give that error. So you can see it has given the error now, lead store not one. So we'll go to web.php, I will copy this one and leads dot store, and here, so we are posting form data, so I will use post, so no one can directly go to lead store page. So this will be only supported post method. Then basically I will have to change here, means this particular form should use method post, otherwise it will not work. And by default in Laravel we have CSRF protection. To add CSRF token, we'll have to use this at CSRF. So it will add that CSRF token. So it will protect our particular page. Okay. So user cannot basically means post data to this particular URL from other site and all this thing. So they needs to came from this particular form only. So that's why we are using this CSRF. This is for security purpose. So this will add that tokens and all these things. So if I want to show, I will have to inspect and all. Then basically I will add the form. So to add form, I will use this similar structure we have in login. So I will use this one, div. Then here we have name, then name. So X label, basically it's a component in this particular components directory label, and similarly input is also, there is a component, so we are using the same which they have used for login form. So we will have that consistent look all over the site. So this is a type text, name will be name, id name, then old name will come here. So this old method, basically when we post data and there is some error, we will come back to the same page. So this name input will be pre-filled there. So then this is required. Then auto focus and auto complete, if you want to use, then you can use this one. Likewise we have this for name. So we'll see other columns, what other columns are there in table, and then we'll add other things. So name, email, phone, message, and status. These things we are adding: name, email, phone, message, status. So I will just go to create and I will just paste it here. So email also needed, so same name, email, then phone, type will be text, name, phone, old phone. Okay, I will just remove autofocus here, here. Okay, name, email, phone, then message and status, and message status. So for message, and basically status. So this will be actually select input, it will not be directly this input, but right now I will just add this, we'll change this. So status, we'll see how it looks. So name, email, phone, message, status. So it's, I will add some padding P6. Okay, so name, email, phone, message, status, and then we'll add a button to submit this form. So X button. So this is also one component we have by that jetstream. So submit, add a class margin top, so empty 5. Okay, now this will submit to that particular store method. Okay, then everything is fine. So if I post this, it will go to that submit. There is actually right now there is nothing, so it will have no effect. So I will just fill this everywhere. I have added this required, so we'll have to add this, and email also has to be correct. So if I submit, so we see a blank page because we don't have anything in that particular store method. So I will add things here. So in store, you can see there is this request. So we can access this particular request. So what data is coming from that particular request, and there is function like dd. So to debug, so we can use, so dd request. So it will show what is there in particular request. So I will refresh this, send again. So you can see this is a basically request object, and then in this particular request we have multiple attributes and all these things. So using this request we can basically check this fields if request name. So I will show you what name actually we have sent. So ad sd. So I will just change taste at If I submit, so you can see the test is here. Okay, so likewise we can basically get that variables into here. So if I want to add this to database, so to make easy, I will do one thing. I will switch to MySQL database rather than SQLite. I will show you means one by one what exactly we are changing all these things. We'll go to .env and I will change this database connection to MySQL, and I will uncomment all these things. Okay, now basically I can go to this MySQL. I will create one more database. So I will create one schema. So it will be next sync, apply, create schema next sync. Okay, we have created. In next sync, basically I will add tables and all these things. So for that I will use migration. So database is next sync, password is password. You can use basically when you are use credential and all this thing, your credential. I will save this and then basically I will run php artisan migrate. So it will migrate this table structures. So I will refresh this one. So you can see there are these tables added: user, session, password, migration, all these things. So our leads tables is also here. So you can see in leads table we don't have anything. So ID, name, email, phone, message, status, created at, updated at. So we have to add data in this particular table. To add data into this table, we will use that model. So they have already added, as we have used the php artisan make model and controller and resources we created at the same time. So this has added this model already. So lead, so we will use this model. Okay, so in store basically dot lead equal to, so basically whatever this, once we add this, so that will return that particular object of that particular lead. So model name is lead, then colon colon, then basically we can use this create method and we can add the data here. Okay, so array format. So what we are adding, name and email. So likewise we can add, and we can add that particular variable from here, request name, but this is not a right way, so I'm not going to teach you the way, but just for understanding I've shown you this is how you can add these things, means this is how it will create. But before creating we'll have to validate that request. Okay, so we have to validate. So to validate, request, then validate, and then basically we can add different validation rules. So for name I want to add the validation rule as a required. We need that name, otherwise it will not work. So similarly for other things also we will add validation rules. So name, email. For email it will be required and it should be email. Okay, so these are two validation rules I added for email. Then phone, it should be digits. Then message, it might be optional, so I can use valuable. And then basically status. So status also not basically here we will not read actually status, we will have that default status, but right now I will just add this as a required. Okay, so by default database will have that default status, so status will not be needed, but still we will have this. And so this, what this function will do, this will validate all this field, name, will, required, email, and all these things. So, and if this is not validated, it will go back to the previous page. So I will just create validated data equal to this one. Okay, for now I will just see if our validation is working properly or not. Dollar validated data. So this will return the validated data, and then we will add to this create and all these things. So if I go back to this particular function, I will refresh, send again. So 419 page expire. This is because we have taken too much time. Actually, okay, not too much time. So basically, we have just switched the database. We have changed the database and all these things. So session and all these things got expired. Well, I'll log in again. So there is no login details, so I will have to register again. So push taste.com. Sorry, it's an email. Push password. I will register again. Not now. So I will just add name, paste, email, phone, then message, status. I will just put something wrong. So submit. So you can see validation rule digits required at least one parameter. Okay, let's see. Parameter required. So 10. I'll refresh this one. Send. Okay, send. Okay, we basically come back from that particular page, but as we see, we didn't see any message key what actually wrong and all these things. So to show the validation message, we can use that error. So in blade template engine, we have, if there is error, if you want to show that error, then we can use something like that. I will just go to this create page, then I will go here. If I want to add the error, so at the rate error, suppose error for name I want to show, and at the rate end error. So in this I will put the error message. To put error message, I will use span, then I will give class last text grade 500, then here will be that particular message. To add the message, dollar message. So validation error message will be shown here. So I will just copy this and I will add for all the fields. So email, then basically for this phone, then for message, and then for this status message phone. Okay, now if there is any error for this name, email, or something, we can see that into this. So I will just add name, email I will have to give proper, then in phone I will make some mistake, and then status message submit. So you can see due to this refresh it got again. So I will just type it again and submit. So phone field must be 10 digits. So we have given that validation, that's why it required that 10 digits. If I have error also here, so actually it has that required by default, so it's not going there. So if we don't have this one, then it will go to that page and will show that errors. So this field is required likewise. Then suppose basically now we have done the validation, all these things. To see the all the validation rules and all these things, you can go to Laravel site and go to this validation page. So here you can see all different type of validations they have available. So now we'll create this particular data into table, means we will add this data into a table. So to add this validated data, if everything goes well, it will have that validated data. So I will just go here, I will correct, I will add the some correct details. So 10 digit 1 2 3 3 status. So status, basically we have a particular that status only. So for that status I will have to add basically I will have to check uh, that field should be matched with the status. So give me validation rule for status. Okay, so it has given the proper validation rules. So we were adding this manually. So rather than, means this makes very easy. So name required string, email required email, and it should be unique, and it should be basically it will match with that leads table and emails column. Then phone, it can be nullable string, message it can be nullable string, and then status required, and it should be in. So basically it should be new, contacted, or converted. So that's how it will work. Okay, I will just save this. Okay, and then we'll go to this create page, and then I will change these things. So we have added message and phone as required, that is not required there. So I will change that. And phone, it should be okay. Actually we will not put digits. So some user will have, means rather than mobile they will have a landline number or something, and for every country there is means there is not this fixed 10 digit only. So that's why we should have this string only. Then this is done. I will just basically save this. I'll try to put the data inside this: name, email, phone, status. This will not work now. Status, for it should be, it will be invalid. So for status now I will have to add that drop down option. So I cannot give user option to add anything. So I will have to give the option of that select box. Okay, so I can basically create a select. Okay, then name and all these things will be same. Then I will have the options. So select, then I will have this 2 3 options: contacted, converted, and new, contacted, and then converted. So I will just copy values here. So in our values we have this small letter, so we can add the capital letter in database also. So right now I will not change it. So new, contacted, converted. So new, contacted, converted, that's correct. Okay, now I will save this. So you can see there is this select box, but you can see the this select style is different from this input. So I will do one thing. I will create one component for this. So I will go to this and I will just copy this thing. I will add one more file, select.lead.php. I will just paste this and I will use select here. Okay, and rather than closing it here, so it will have that dollar slot, and then I will close this slash select. So it will have same styling what we have for inputs. Okay, then we'll see this. So it will be x select, x select. So we have created this component. So what is the issue? I will check this. So and if expected, okay, there is some issue. Okay, the issue is here. So we have closed this. We should not close this here. So now you can see the same style and all these things. So user can select from this one only. If they not select, it will give that required and all these things error. Now if I go to this one, I will submit. So you can see the data: name, email, phone, message, and status. So we have validated data now. So after having validated data, we can create this lead. Okay, lead, create, and with this data, we will create this to our table. So there will be some issue. So this will not actually add the data. So because in models, we have by default everything is protected. So we will have to add. So basically, these fields will not be fillable and all these things. So we can use this fillable, and then we can add all the field names, name, email, and all these things. Or we can, for now we will use this guarded method. So which are the fields will be guarded, which fields cannot be filled by user. So in guarded, I will add id. Okay, this field will not be filled by user, other fields can be filled by. Okay, then it will work, otherwise it will not work. Then basically in lead controller, so it will create that validated data. So once this data is created, then basically we will have to redirect back to our leads page. So we will redirect back to our leads page. So we will use return and redirect function. And where we will redirect, so we'll redirect to route, and the route will be leads dot index, and we can pass the message from here also. So right now I will just redirect to leads page. We'll see how it work. So refresh, so it will create into database and it will redirect to leads page. So it has added into database. So you can see, select, I will just rerun this query. So you can see ASDA and all these things, whatever we have added. So it added it will also add, it has also means added, created at column and updated at a value. Now we will show this particular list on our leads page. So before leads, calling leads.index, we will get all these leads. So we will use this leads, then basically I can get all these things, or I can use pagination. So I will use paginate, and then I will give this 10. So 10 will be selected from this leads table. Okay, then I can show this leads. So I will just pass this leads. So I can do likewise, or I can use the compact function leads. Okay, now this variables will be available into our view page. So in index page, I will list that basic leads. So at the rate for each. So this is also one more syntax. So basically one more thing for our blade template. So we can use at the rate for each and loop through the data. So data is basically in leads as dollar lead, and then end for each. Then we will just right now we'll list down. So I will just write lead, then name, and then email. Okay, only two things. We'll see how it looks. So there is issue, leads not found. We have made a, means we have added s is not there, so it's lead model name is lead. So I will refresh this one. So you can see we have added this. If I click create, I will add one more. So test that, then message, select contacted, submit. So one more lead added. And if we have multiple entries, and we can do this pagination. If I do only one, so only one leads will be shown. for every page. So once we have more data, then we can show this. So to show the pagination links, basically we will use this one, leads, then links. So in index, and I will show leads, then links. So you can see this is the pagination links. Okay, I will just add some padding here, p6. Okay, so let's change something. So class block bg blue 300 p2, then a float right, so it will go here. Then basically I will add this into new div, so everything will go into this new div. So refresh. Okay, so float right rather than float right, I will just let it be here. We'll change this design and all these things later. Just one more thing, class block, it's making that block, so let it be like this. We'll change that later. We'll use button style and all these things for proper consistent look. So we'll change the UI, then we'll make proper design changes. So if I go to second page, so second one page one, if you have more, but by default we'll have that 10 on one page, so I will just 10. So this will work like that. So refresh. So 2, there is no more pages, so they have not shown the pagination links. So likewise, so now we have basically added the leads into a database and then listed this one. So now basically next we can do edit and delete option. So how we can edit this particular lead, and then basically how to update and then how to delete that in next videos.